The moment you've all been waiting for, I'm finally back on YouTube. I'm super excited. We're going to be putting out 2 videos per week going forward in the rest of 2019 and going forward in 2020. For those of you guys who don't know who I am, my name's Jason. I'm the co-founder of Dropshipping University. On this channel, we've mostly talked about wholesale dropshipping in the past: Amazon, eBay, Shopify, Etsy. We sell on all the marketplaces, and we're going to be talking about building your own websites. So if this is stuff that interests you guys going forward, go ahead and smash that like button. If you have any comments or questions, go ahead and drop them below. In this video today, though, we're going to be talking about the item location policy recently updated on eBay. There's been a lot of commotion in the eBay dropshipping space. I'm going to weigh in on this, and I'm going to relate this back to wholesale dropshipping as a potential solution for a lot of the problems that are coming up. So if this is something you guys want to see, stay tuned. I have a whole presentation set up for you, and we're going to get right into it. Okay guys, so we're inside of my computer now. I'm going to take out my little pointer to go along with you. We're talking about the item location policy that was recently updated on eBay. As I said earlier, it's caused a lot of commotion, so I really want to weigh in on this, shed some insight, and let you guys know what I'm thinking going forward and how you guys can actually go ahead and appropriately react to this. Get a plan of action set forward for 2019, the rest of 2019 and 2020 and beyond, so that you are hedged against any potential risks that your account may be in at the moment. So right now, as it stands, eBay has updated their item location policy, and as you can see, I took a screenshot down here. It clearly says item location information must accurately state where the item will be shipped from. Now, that's not any different from the past. They've always said that with their item location policy, but there has been some extremely difficult challenges that we're facing going forward as dropshippers now, namely the fields where you have to put in a specific zip code from where you're shipping the items from. And it says right here, to make sure buyers have a clear understanding of shipping charges and delivery times, sellers must provide accurate information in their listings about where their item will be shipped from. So in the past, we were able to just put in multiple locations for both the city and state fields and the zip code fields. Now, we don't know going forward if that's going to be an acceptable practice or not. My guess is eBay is putting in these changes right now, and they're trying to get a lot of people to comply with these changes and change their business model from, standard retail drop shipping, or if you're using AliExpress drop shipping, which I understand has been a huge headache for eBay. They're trying to get people to transition. They're really trying to give these warnings out and make sure that you guys are in compliance. And that's at the bottom, at the end of the day, that's really what they're trying to do. So we have to put in a plan of action to accurately make sure that we're in compliance. So eBay has recently implemented these changes to their item location, and I called up eBay actually a couple days ago. I'm going to link that above. You'll see a little eye that comes out. I actually had a live call with one of the eBay reps, and I asked a lot of questions about this new policy. So if that's something that interests you, go ahead and watch that video. Essentially, what I got out of them is that we're really in a gray area when we're using multiple locations, when we put multiple locations. Now, I asked him about smart logistics using multiple fulfillment centers, as even wholesale suppliers sometimes have multiple locations if they're going to have a fulfillment center on the West Coast and the East Coast so that they can cut down on their shipping charges. Obviously, if they're doing a lot of volume in shipping, it makes sense. We call that smart logistics. The rep on the phone didn't really have a clear-cut answer, so we're going to take this kind of stride in stride. We're going to figure out what we have to do going forward, but I really think, and I'm going to present my argument more clearly in this, that wholesale dropshipping may be a very viable answer to where you're at with your business at the moment. So what are some of the potential risks of this item location misrepresentation? And it ultimately comes down to you risk having your selling privileges suspended. Now that's a big deal, right? And we can see that clear as day in the policy itself. So it says activity that doesn't follow eBay policy could result in a range of actions, including, for example, and they say administratively ending, canceling listings, hiding or demoting. And trust me, they've been hiding and demoting listings in search results for over a year. It's called throttling or flagging. And right at the end, it says account suspension. So you do risk having your account suspended on eBay if you're not in compliance. Now, the real question here is, are they going to enforce it? And that's going to bring me to my next point. Will they start enforcing that? And nobody really knows for sure. I don't even think eBay knows for sure, but as a seller, I know that I want to hedge myself against the risk of potentially having my account suspended for not being in compliance with this rule. So only time will tell, but I can be proactive right now as a seller to mitigate those risks. And I think you guys should probably consider that as well. So now's the time to hedge yourself against the risk, not 3 months from now when they start coming down with a ban hammer. And I put in a little ban hammer icon. You guys want to avoid getting banned, suspensions, MC011. You guys want to avoid dealing with that headache. Can you come back from a suspension? Yes, you absolutely can. But I would say you really want to avoid it at all costs. And that's what this is all about, risk mitigation, okay? And this is something really interesting that I found. The big three are Home Depot, Amazon, and Walmart. Those are the three biggest suppliers that drop shippers are using right now. Everybody, it's actually something like 90 to 95% of all drop shippers. And we know these statistics because we work closely with a lot of repricing software and they let us know this stuff. 90 to 95% of all eBay drop shippers are using the big three. So that means that they're drop shipping, they're sourcing their products from Amazon, Home Depot, and Walmart. That's the large majority of all eBay drop shippers. So to differentiate ourselves, we want to steer away from that and find either obscure retail suppliers, and there's thousands of them in the US, or use wholesale suppliers, okay? So one thing that's really interesting is the fact that Amazon has 75 fulfillment centers. Home Depot is going to be 170 fulfillment centers by 2023. It's like a $2 billion project that they have. And Walmart has 42 fulfillment centers. So these three companies have tons of fulfillment centers all across the country. And it's public record. It's public knowledge. Anybody from eBay could go and search this information, find those addresses, and then factor that into the algorithm to actually know that you're drop shipping from those three sources. And the three sources that I believe eBay is really targeting because they're probably eBay's biggest competitors. And those three companies are getting tons of free brand awareness because they're leveraging dropshippers. In a way, they're leveraging dropshippers to have products sent to the eBay customers, and eBay is losing those customers. So we want to avoid that. But my point about having all of these fulfillment centers around the country is you're not going to be able to put these zip codes in, all these zip codes for all these fulfillment centers because there's so many of them. You realistically only want to have one fulfillment center, and that's really what I gauged when I was talking to the eBay rep, is you only want to have one primary location that you're shipping your items out of. And when you're getting supplies from these three sources, you're really in an uphill battle at that point because there's so many fulfillment centers and you can't put in all of those zip codes for those items that you're listing on eBay. So it really presents quite the challenge, and it could get your account suspended ultimately. So how can wholesale dropshipping or whole shipping be the solution? And my belief is that if we can have just one place that our supplier is shipping the product out of, then eBay is not going to have any issues. And that's what I've done on eBay. Is I think I have about 5 suppliers at the moment, and each one of those suppliers only has one ship from address. That means they have one fulfillment center that they're shipping all their products from. So what I do is I find their zip code on their website, the city and state, it's all on their website, and I go and put that into those fields when I'm listing those items, and that gets me covered from eBay's perspective. I'm covered as a seller, and my zip code is accurately depicting where it's shipping from, and that's what they care about. They want their customer to know exactly where that item's shipping from, okay? So we can simply use those city, state, and zip code fields in the eBay listing, okay? So that's all you have to do. So if your supplier is in Boca Raton, Florida, for example, and their zip code is down there, you just take Boca Raton as the city, Florida is the state, You take the zip code from Boca Raton from your supplier, you put that right into the eBay listing, and you're good to go. You're golden. You have no issues because you have one supplier. And that's the beauty of wholesale drop shipping, is most of these wholesale suppliers are localized to only one fulfillment center, and that's really important. Okay. Now, one other thing that's really important too is that eBay came out over a year ago when they kind of reintroduced their drop shipping policy, and they said that wholesale drop shipping, or finding products from a wholesale supplier, is the only acceptable practice or acceptable form of drop shipping going forward in 2019 and beyond. And they clearly said that, and I have that right down here. Right in red, drop shipping, where you fulfill orders directly from a wholesale supplier, is allowed on eBay. Remember though, if you use drop shipping, you're still responsible for safe delivery of the item within the time frame and the buyer's overall satisfaction with their purchase. Now, this is just a snippet from the overall drop shipping policy. If you guys are interested in looking at that drop shipping policy, I'll link it below. Essentially, what that drop shipping policy says is, do not drop ship products from a marketplace or a retailer, because that's against our drop shipping policy. But if you use a wholesale supplier and you guys have terms, an agreement, a wholesale agreement, then you're okay. You can do that. That's an acceptable form of drop shipping on eBay. And I'm really surprised that more people on eBay haven't, I'm really surprised that more people on YouTube and on Facebook haven't come out and talked more about wholesale drop shipping, because it's very clear in that language that eBay wants us to actually continue to drop ship using wholesale suppliers. There's a legitimacy to that, and I'm really surprised that more people haven't come out and talked about it. So that's why I'm on YouTube talking about it now. So with that said, I hope this, I really hope that this has helped you guys out. If you want to learn more about wholesale drop shipping, I do have a Facebook group, and I'm going to link that below. You guys can go ahead and request access. It's free to join. There's there's nothing to sell in there. We have tons of free information. I'm really trying to get that reignited going forward. I think wholesale drop shipping is the #1 business model to sell on eBay at the moment. I wish more people were talking about it, but I'm going to be the trailblazer, I guess, in the wholesale dropshipping game. So feel free to post any questions or comments below. I will answer each and every single one of them. And if you guys found this information helpful, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you hit that bell notification, you'll be updated every single time I put out a new video. And with that said, I really appreciate you guys taking the time out to watch this, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks.